What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Inferno Insider Podcast. I'm RJ.
I'm Tyler.
Today we have a very special guest. We have the most winningest coach in ASU history, Coach Charli Thorne. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks, guys.
So we're going to go right into the questions. I don't think we need to have too much of a background on who you are. Tyler, why don't you start us out?
Yeah, let's do it. First of all, thank you so much for joining us. This is
Thanks for having me.
For all of us, and for
pleasure.
people to get to hear your story. So the first one we got, tell us a little bit about your story before coming to ASU.
Before coming to ASU, grew up in LA, latchkey kid, loved sports, worked hard, got a scholarship to Stanford, played a little basketball, got a couple degrees, tested the waters for being a sports psychologist, got a gig in coaching. 30 years later,
There you are.
I'm still coaching.
Just a couple of degrees, no big deal.
So I guess is that enough, or yeah? I mean, in the middle there, I got married, have 3 kids, and coached at NAU first for 3 years before I came down the hill. That was my first head coaching job.
Do you remember when you first wanted to get, or even start playing basketball, or like what the full experience was like?
So I hate this word, tomboy, but I was definitely coined a tomboy when I was a kid. I was closer in age with my brother than my sister, so I would follow him around, play Army, play G.I. Joes. I didn't have Barbies, and play sports. But I loved it. I was a very active kid, and so just kind of grew up being active, playing sports my whole life. And in high school, basketball, softball, but I always kind of had a extra passion for basketball, and was very blessed to get an opportunity to play in college, and here I am. Yeah, exactly, pretty much.
Did you always kind of have coaching in mind, or
No, actually, it's funny. I was talking with my former player, Sophia Lenga, who's broadcast journalism major, and we were talking about her future, and she's like, she always, I said, no, definitely not. I mean, I was thinking sports psychologist. I was thinking in the sports room, and I snuck into full disclosure, I snuck into this conference. I drove down with this tennis player from Stanford, and we snuck into a sports psychology conference in Huntington Beach, and we tracked down like the pioneers of sports psychology, because way back then in the Stone Age, it was still relatively new. And we said, what's the best route? And he said, well, get your clinical psych degree, which is a 5-year degree. And the average age getting into those programs is 27. So when I graduated, I had done a little research at Stanford, but I didn't have the credentials. So I was like testing the waters between, really academia and that, and maybe coaching, because that was my job every summer as a basketball player. I would just go up and down California, work basketball camps, make a little money, train, and I did love it. So, I mean, I had such an amazing experience at the University of Washington as a graduate assistant coach, and I got offered a job to Santa Clara University after my first year, and then I said, no, I've made a 2-year commitment. I want to finish my master's degree. So after the second year, that coach called me again. I was like, okay, I'm tired of asking for money from my parents, right? I'm like, I want to make money. So yeah, and here I am, still doing it.
what was ASU and the women's basketball program here like before you got here?
Well, so, I mean, we had some good years and some good some good players, big time, great coaches. But the 3 years before I got there, it really struggled. I was the head coach at NAU, which was terrible when I got there. They had won 9 games in 3 years or something like that. So, but my second and third year at NAU, we beat ASU by 20 home and away. So we were struggling. We didn't quite have the talent. I kind of joke about this when I got here. We go into the weight room, and, Rich Winter, who's still here as our strength and conditioning coach, unbelievable strength and conditioning coach, our players doing like sets of push-ups, and they're on their knees. And I just look at them and I go, like, what are they doing? Like, we just weren't at any sort of level that we needed to be at. And Kevin White, who hired me, just said, Charlie, graduate everybody, help them. And they were wonderful women. And, we did. And we just kind of, did it like the hard way. Didn't run anybody off and try to poach any players. We just, year by year, kind of built our recruiting up and put a pretty good program. Yeah.
Yeah. So how have you seen the sport and the culture around ASU, specifically for your team, kind of change throughout the years?
Well, hopefully. I mean, the sport has certainly grown. I mean, we have a Pac-12 network, right? I mean, every game's on TV, and I think the growth of many sports, but in particular college women's basketball, has been really fun. The notoriety that the players get, the resources that they get, is just not comparable to 20 years ago. So that's fantastic. And then I think, culture-wise, I mean, I don't know if you're referring more to the community or more towards just like, obviously we build a strong culture of, and, when we recruit young women into ASU, we talk about one of the biggest things we're about is giving back to the community, using basketball as a vehicle to, inspire young kids to become a better person, to grow yourself after basketball, because there is no multi-million-dollar contract for women yet. Or, maybe ever. And even then your body gives out and then you have to prepare for the rest of your life. So we're really about that here with our program. It's really a comprehensive experience and way beyond. I mean, basketball is, of course, fun and exciting and we win. But, we definitely want to prepare our women and we usually, find young women from families that really care about the, giving back to their community, like, young women that understand what it means to be a Sun Devil. It's not just show up and compete, be the best that you can be in everything that you do. Our academic accolades are off the chain really compared to the rest of the Pac-12 and really nationally. I mean, we do really well and that's strategic based on who we recruit, but it's also our culture here of, it's not just get by and play basketball. Yeah. So
I brought up a little bit in the beginning. You have 500 wins under your belt now. If you could go back and relive one game, just one game.
You mean redo? Because I have a lot of games I would redo. Oh, that would be endless. The games that I would like to recoach and, things, every coach, I don't know. For me, like I just beat myself up, after games. Like if woulda, coulda, shoulda, you go back on the tape that night and, maybe I should have subbed here or, I didn't recognize that or whatever it is. In terms of just, joy moments, we've had a lot. I think, one that was way back was our first Pac-10 championship. It was actually at the University of Oregon, the Pac-12, Pac-10 tournament, and we beat Stanford in the championship. Matter of fact, the shirts were the Stanford color red because no one thought we were going to win. I'll never forget that. Yeah, wow is right, Tyler. It's like, yeah, that's not our color. But anyway, it was an amazing win. We were down, came back, and we kind of, we're a little jilted all year long. We had a good year, and it's sort of like, yeah, and Arizona State. And, I thought that team just, was incredible the way they kind of overcame and, have a little maybe chip on their shoulder in terms of, don't tell us we can't do that. That was my 5th year here. Yeah, so my 5th year here, we won, I think, 5th or 6th. Because we won a Pac-10 championship and then we won a Pac-10 tournament championship, kind of back to back. But that was, that was probably the first huge accomplishment. Coming in, really, really bad. a long ways to go. Yeah.
There's something that you brought up, and it's about kind of how you beat yourself up after a game. Have you been able to kind of figure out how to deal with that, or is that still something that you feel face every single day?
That's a really good question, RJ. I don't like that question because I'm almost ashamed. I'm not ashamed, but like I should be better at it. I should be better at it. I'm not, but I guess that's, a lot of people, a lot of us that want to be great. I want to be great for my players. I want to be great for my staff. I want to be great, for them. And if I fall short, I'm pretty hard. I'm much harder on myself than anybody around me. Like I'm not one of these coaches like, rah. It's like, okay, evaluate and adjust. Kobe Bryant, amazing interview with him that I share with our team the week before he passed. It was kind of surreal. There's no such thing as failure. It's a figment of your imagination. It's about figuring things out. And so that's our approach here. I wish I was better at it. I mean, I think I am after I process a little bit, but, there's people, the other thing he said, he was asked, do you fear failure or, do you hate to lose or, love to win? And he's like, neither. Neither. No, neither of those are a way to approach the game. I'm out there in the moment, performing and again, kind of figuring things out and stuff like that. So I'm trying to be more like that.
It's the what if factor. You always when you look back, especially if you have to look back at tape?
Well, now you have everything.
You have
Like
every
like
single detail.
we didn't pour over every inch of every film like 20 years ago. Now, you're really
You can, and it's in your face. It's everywhere.
yeah. I mean, but it's I mean I like it because I think it helps me help myself and my players better. But yeah, I think it's kind of amazing I've made it this long because I do internalize stuff and get disappointed in myself when we are not successful. But I am working on that, RJ. So
I think that's the powerful part about this, right? I think all of us have that disappointment, that regret every once in a while. To see yourself, an amazingly successful coach, kind of go through the same things that some of us go through too. I think that's just powerful.
yeah, well, agreed. Thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely don't have that mastered. I really, like everything you teach about positive and present and just, next play and everything. That's the $1 million question in life, that whole mindfulness of, if we could all just master that, man, it would be a beautiful world. We'd all just get rid of all the anxiety and tension and hate and stuff, I think, if we could.
It's there.
Yeah. And, the beauty of sports and I think the agony of sports is just the highs and the lows, and it's just part of it. And, college sports, even though it's big business and everything's very out there for people to, critique and stuff, it's college sports, it's a game. It's an opportunity to learn and grow and become a better person. And I truly believe going through that, it helps build, who you are, but it also reveals who you are. And we talk about those things all the time. I mean, every pregame talk I give, it's about who we are, not what we do. If we stay true to who we are, we're going to be fine out on the court. And it's true. Like when they get disconnected and they kind of get inside themselves, which is not a winning strategy in sports, obviously, then, you don't get the results they want. So it's, yeah. Anyway.
Well, on a more positive note,
That's a positive note.
It is a positive.
Yeah, that's good stuff there. That's that's helping all of us here. Yeah.
So you have, in your time here, you've practically rewritten the record books for academic accolades, Pac-12 wins, consecutive tournament appearances. I mean, the list goes on. What of all those are you most proud of?
Sorry. I mean, I think obviously, it's really for the players to be proud of their accomplishments and stuff, and getting to be a part of everything that's happened here has been, really rewarding. It's hard to choose. I mean, I don't have a job if we don't win. So, I could say the academic, but, then, I think it's a combination of all of it, like being able to be top ranked academically with your GPA, but then also go to a Sweet 16. Like that really represents so much who we are. Thanks, Rashawn. That really reflects kind of who we are, not just one or the other, but all of it. Yeah.
So transitioning a little bit off the court, we kind of brought this up a little bit ago about giving back to the community. What motivates you to be so actively be active beyond basketball?
I mean, I don't know that I would be doing this, that's one of the most rewarding things about my job. Like I could go and I can help people somewhere else, and I will probably after I'm done coaching. But one of the most rewarding parts of my job is that, like, I have this platform to go serve people, to inspire people. They actually maybe care, I always tell my players, I joke with them, they get this small window, people want your autograph, they actually listen to you. So take advantage of it. So we do here. We really try to take advantage of just being, out in the community and trying to motivate young girls, whether we go to college, play, how hard they need to work, different messages, of course, and actually through a lot of different communities. We're really, I feel like tight with our Native American community in the state of Arizona, and trying to support and work with them and all the challenges that they have, on the reservation and stuff. So that really fills me up. Basketball I love, and, tirelessly work to game plan and stuff like that. But the things that you get to do because you're a basketball coach, that I think fills you up as every bit as much as the triple overtime wins.
Is there any specific community outreach or something you've done in the community stood out to you more than anything?
I think just, and I don't, the accumulation of everything. Like when we won the Pat Tillman Leadership Award years back, and we were the first college team to get it, and we had over 250 some hours of community service that year with that team. Like to me, that body of work, I was really proud of. And we kind of consistently actually do that year in and year out with our team. They're kind of work here year round. they never go home. No, they do get to go home, but they have summer school. And so, there's different literacy projects, obviously Children's Hospital. We have a couple, we have an adopted player on our team that's part of the Friends of Jacqueline Foundation, which is kids who grow up with brain tumors. And those are never resolved, so they constantly are fighting that. And so we're on our second player that we've adopted, and then we do things. And that's a really cool program that we get to be a part of. And we have her name's Jackie, little Jackie, who was just at a game a couple weeks ago. And but I don't know. I mean, we're pretty active. There's a lot of cool things that we get to, the domestic shelter. I mean, there's, a lot of cool things that we get to go help people and serve. And I mean, like everybody does, I think, that's much more rewarding than like signing autographs, let's go roll up our sleeves and go down to St. Vincent's and serve, let's put our gloves on and, let's serve food for 3 hours and things like that. Those are things that honestly, like the players that we recruit to our program love doing that stuff, as much as they love the gear and, everything else that they get. I think that they have, our women's players really have a great appreciation for the platform, if you will, that they have.
So a lot of women, especially those looking to go into the sports industry, especially a lot of the ones that are here, look up to you in terms of your success. What piece of advice would you have for those women that are looking to get into the sports industry?
Well, it's incredible, the opportunities now, isn't it? I mean, Kara's with the Boston Celtics. I mean, there's women getting hired on the NBA. Super Bowl. I mean, pro sports, college sports, broadcasting, a lot of crossover now. So it's really, really neat to see, women emerging in all the different disciplines within sports. But I would say, like, one of the issues that a lot of women have with all-consuming careers in sports and not in sports, let me just say that, is just the work-life balance. And that's a huge issue in college women's basketball because our it's not healthy. We work every day. I mean, did I work on Christmas? Yes, I watch film on Christmas. I mean, like, we just do. Did you text all your recruits? You text all your recruits. There's just always stuff to do. And if you want to be really successful, it's that type of job. And so and there's a lot of jobs like that, and I think the pressure sometimes, especially if you're in the good old boys world and stuff, to maybe work a little harder and stuff is real. And I'm going to say the advice that an older coach who had 5 kids, and I had 2 kids at the time, and she's like, "So Charlie, you going to have another one?" And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I said, this is my job. And she just kind of smacked me and she said, your job is just a job. Don't put that ahead of your family and, fulfilling your life. And I've never forgot that. I've passed that advice on to a lot of people. Doesn't mean that I don't wish I didn't work as much and I had more time with my family, but I would just encourage the women out there to remember a job is just a job and don't allow it to be all consuming. Have balance, and make time to have your relationships outside of work no regrets sort of rewarding type of life, because that's like in sports, if we're helping athletes, that's what we're trying to preach, practice what you preach. I don't always. Again, I'm trying. Yeah.
So what's next for you, Coach? What are the plans going forward?
Oregon State this weekend. Yep. Yeah. Oregon State. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I always have said I'm not a lifer. Like, I don't want to coach till I drop. I think that there'll be a point where, it's just time to step away and let the next, generation step up and then, do something else. I just definitely see myself doing something, helping people. I don't know exactly what that looks like yet, but, maybe take a month or so off, but,
Yeah,
but
take yourself a little time.
and I don't ever see myself retired, ever, but definitely just doing something. The other thing I joked about, I don't know if I should say this,
Go ahead.
Anything's on.
Yeah.
we're bonding here, all access here today. I just joke with people. Well, and your professional success depends on the mood and will of 18 to 22-year-olds. I mean, I think next is something that really just depends on me. But that's also what makes it so fun and so challenging. So I'm joking. Yeah. Yeah. Am I? You be the judge.
Well, I think that's all we had for today. Coach, thank you so much for being on the podcast. You're the first coach we've ever actually had.
Oh, appreciate it, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Inferno Insider Podcast. I'm RJ.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Charlie.
Keep those pitchforks up. Stay tuned for more.